Hello and welcome to CATSweek. I'm Annalise Puhrman. The Monroe County Election Board met on June 5th. Democratic Board member John Fernandez was not in attendance. In his place was Chair of the Monroe County Democratic Party, Samuel Udak, who explained that he temporarily appointed himself to the Monroe County Election Board following Fernandez's resignation. He read a statement briefly explaining the situation.
I wrote a letter this morning appointing myself for a short term to the board. It reads as follows. To whom it may concern, this letter serves as notice that on June 5th, 2025, I'm appointing myself to the Democratic Party seat on the Monroe County Election Board effective through June 30th, 2025. A formal notice of a permanent appointee will be made to county staff no later than that date. As of the writing of this letter, the chair has made no other formal appointment to the position. Thank you, Samuel Udak, Chairman, Monroe County Democratic Party.
During the meeting, the board discussed a contract with B&L, who helps with technical support for elections.
We actually do own the equipment.
Okay.
And B&L Services helps us with the IT portion of our election. They're our IT vendor. They also move our equipment prior to election day and then pick it up. And then they also help us. I'm doing a very poor job of this. Mr. White is on the meeting if you have specific questions, but they also help us with our IT during early and absentee voting as well as on election day.
County Clerk Nicole Brown explained B&L has worked with the county doing IT work for elections for 11 years. Monroe County Commissioner Julie Thomas came to the meeting to explain why the commissioners were looking for more information about the contract, saying that there was not enough information for the commissioners to feel comfortable approving it.
Hello, Monroe County Commissioner Julie Thomas. I just wanted to reiterate information that we sent in this letter in May. We have questions about whether you all had reviewed the contract and were fine with it, whether there was a search for multiple vendors to find a good price, whether this is something that can be done in-house, how many other counties do this with outside IT versus inside IT. And our biggest concern was that there's $100,000 in non-election year cost that goes to this particular company. And yes, while Hart may indeed offer some software updates this year in a non-election year, that sometimes happens, we don't understand the dollars, right? And that's all we were asking for, because we were asked to approve a contract that there is missing information for us, because for transparency's sake, we want to make sure that when we get asked a question by the public about why does it cost this much to do this when you're also paying Hart that, what is this person doing, what is this company doing? We want to be able to answer those questions, and we felt like the contract had a lot of gaps in it, and Ms. Turner King is aware of those gaps. So thank you so much.
Clerk Brown asked if Thomas had seen the letter that B&L had sent filling in those gaps. Thomas said that she had not received a letter. County Attorney Molly Turner King then said that she had only received the letter the day before and had not had time to distribute it. B&L was asked to summarize the letter for Commissioner Thomas. Clerk Brown then said that they have had good service working with B&L and explained that they are a cost-effective choice as well.
So we kind of I guess got bang for our buck by going with B&L because what they charge is exponentially less than what we would charge. And as to only so many vendors make election equipment, and everybody is not does not have the experience or background to work on that equipment. B&L does. This is just short of bringing Hart in here to service their own equipment and work with us. We are getting an incredible deal, and he's been good to us for the last 11 years. His ethic is beyond reproach, and we are incredibly fortunate that he continues to lend his talents and services to Monroe County government. He retired from city technology, the city of Bloomington technology, and I really do not, short of bringing Hart here, I really do not believe we can do better than BNL. Thank you.
Thomas also spoke during public comment outlining the future plans for Election Central following the demolition of the current building due to the expansion of the convention center. Thomas invited Fleet and Facilities Manager Richard Kreider to give more information on the future plans for Election Central.
Julie Thomas, Monroe County Commissioner here once again, but we wanted to provide some information for all of you and for the public because as we know with the groundbreaking for the new convention center, the Napa building, election operations will be demolished very soon. And we want to assure you all that there are plans in place. And this is, for those who don't know, Richard Kreider, who is our Fleet and Facilities Manager. And if you would quickly just walk through what our plans are, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. So our plans are to renovate the east side of the first floor of the Showers building for early voting. It's been a little bit of a process. We started in January, working myself with clerk staff on getting to a point where we could hire an architect to start doing some real programming. And through that process, we've added some more space than what we originally thought. It was obvious and apparent that we needed more square footage. So we've extended that, and I think we're where we need to be square footage wise. And if we can maintain the architect's program, we're looking at a finish in construction December 2025. My apologies.
Later in the meeting, Kylie Ferris said that the Ellettsville Library branch would be a good location for early voting.
Also, I know that like Ellettsville is another location that has like questioned multiple times over, especially 2024, where their early voting location was in Ellettsville because they had figured that there would be one and there wasn't. So that is another one that we really looked at that really think that there should be one at least in Ellettsville and then somewhere on the south side of town. And then we have election operations in the center of downtown.
The Monroe County Election Board will meet again on August 7th. The Bloomington Board of Public Works met on June 3rd to discuss a series of contracts and closures. The board was asked to approve a contract with ENB Paving for asphalt resurfacing on North Walnut Street. Zach Rogers from Bloomington Engineering stated that the work would stretch from the area between the McDonald's and Big Red Liquors locations up to where the street intersects with Old State Road 37. Rogers elaborated that the work would require lane closures and would last from now until approximately November 1st. President Kyla Cox-Deckard and Vice President Elizabeth Caron questioned whether the lanes would be open during high-traffic periods such as football games and dorm move-in dates. Rogers assured them that they would work with contractors to avoid major closures during those times.
Will the lanes be open during like high volume times like football?
Good question. Yeah, we'd have to work through that and I guess work with the contractor and make sure we don't have any major closures.
I'd also add, in addition to football weekends, the residence hall move-in days, those high traffic days would be ones to potentially have the lanes open.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Those would be, probably for a period of about 3 days, a Sunday through Wednesday, roughly. So it might be during peak working times.
The board voted to approve the contract with ENB Paving. Next, engineering field specialist Alexandra Gray presented a proposed sidewalk closure at the intersection of East 7th Street and North Jefferson Street in order to make way for a tree plot and a new sidewalk. The closures would occur on both streets, but not at the same time. Cox-Deckard asked if there would be alternate sidewalks adjacent to the closed ones on each street. Gray clarified that this would be the case on Jefferson, but that 7th Street did not have another sidewalk. Gray and Maria McCormick, also representing Bloomington Engineering, studied a map of the location in order to find a solution to the lack of accessible sidewalks on 7th. When questioned about the reasoning for the sidewalk closure, McCormick explained and offered a possible solution.
This is two duplexes that are going into these lots, and the sidewalks didn't meet functional compliance with planning, so they have to replace the sidewalks. A lot of times we don't get into that with duplexes, but since the sidewalks didn't meet functional compliance, they did have to be replaced. What we can do is we can require them to put jersey barriers on 7th. There is a bike lane. We'll have to do some figuring on this one, but we'll figure out how to keep the sidewalk open.
The board voted to approve the closure with the understanding that a separate strip of 7th Street will be blocked off as a temporary sidewalk. The Monroe County Commissioners met on June 5th. During department updates, Health Administrator Lori Kelly provided an update on COVID-19 in the community, saying that the CDC will no longer include the COVID vaccine in its recommended vaccination schedule for healthy children and pregnant women.
As of June 3rd, emergency department visits for COVID-like illness have continued to decrease, as well as wastewater concentrations. As of May 27th, the COVID-19 vaccine will no longer be included in the CDC's recommended vaccine schedule for healthy children and pregnant women. People who will be recommended to receive the vaccine are those over 65 and those with existing health problems. It's not clear at this time what insurance companies will do about the new recommendations and coverage. The health department does still have free COVID vaccines available. You can call 812-353-3244 for more information or to schedule an appointment.
All right, thank you so much. What is the last day of that availability?
For the COVID vaccines?
Yes.
So we do have them available at the public health clinic. I know that some of our childhood ones have expired, but we have various other age groups, so you can call for that.
Okay, I think what I'm asking is, when is that new
recommendation? Yeah. It actually started May 27th.
Okay, so it's already in place. Okay.
Yes.
And there is a new RNA shot, next spike, that was approved by the FDA, but we don't know what availability will be or any of that.
Commissioner Jody Madeira described the news as heartbreaking, especially as new variants of the COVID-19 virus have evolved. Madeira asked Kelly where people can receive better guidance.
This actually breaks my heart, because what we're seeing is sort of the systematic taking apart of the vaccination system. And I think this comes at a time when we have new variants coming down the pipeline. I urge anyone who needs a COVID vaccine to get it as soon as possible, because there is a new variant that has actually been found. There has been news about this in the last 2 weeks. And I just had a question for Lori. Do you know whether there are certain criteria where healthy adults who may have health problems that are not, normally considered life-limiting, like, for example, they may have asthma. And do you know, where people can obtain guidance on what kinds of conditions can qualify them for continued COVID vaccinations, I guess? I imagine that many of us have conditions where we may take medication for them. They may not prompt us to go to our doctors in a biweekly or monthly schedule. Where can we get this information?
So other than talking to someone's, provider, of course, you can check the CDC website to see if updated information is listed on there. That's kind of the best guidance at this time.
During public comment, Senior Director of Government and Community Relations for the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce, Chris M.G., referenced a contentious moment that happened during the Monroe County Plan Commission meeting, saying that he believes disagreement is a healthy democratic process.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'll just begin public comment to get the ball rolling. I want to continue the celebrating of Tuesday's Convention Center expansion groundbreaking, a truly historic day for our community. This milestone has been a long time coming, and we're now on the path to that 12-month economy. I commend this body for their leadership. As Commissioner Thomas said, the key was having the intuition to establish the CID and then get out of their way. Today, we're seeing the fruits of that vision. The other thing I want to bring up is what I witnessed at a recent Plan Commission administrative session. They had some robust, respectful discourse that democracy requires. It's not always comfortable, but it is necessary. So disagreements isn't dysfunction, it's engagement. I want to stress that. And that engagement means that people care deeply about Monroe County, which is what we want to see on our boards and commissions. So I encourage the Plan Commission to continue leaning into that discomfort. Respect differences, ask hard questions, because even when we don't all agree, we're all working toward that same goal of more vibrant, a better, more balanced Monroe County for all. And I thank you for your time today.
Near the end of the meeting, Commissioner Julie Thomas criticized the Chamber of Commerce for putting out a statement denouncing county leadership and Plan Commission member Margaret Clements.
I have a statement I'd like to make, and this is just from me. This is not from the Board of Commissioners, but it's important enough that I'd like to make the statement. So the Chamber of Commerce issued a newsletter a little more than a month ago disparaging me as an elected official. It's sort of a whatever, I'm used to it. Yep. However, the Chamber, which in my opinion spends a bit too much time on political affairs for a 501c3, has an agenda, pro-housing no matter what. The Chamber and the developers have a mutual relationship. Meanwhile, people like our Plan Commission President, Margaret Clements, gets caught in the crossfire. The Chamber is doing what the Chamber's doing. That's fine. That's their role. That's fine. But the Chamber didn't like her vote on a zoning petition. They didn't tell the readers of a newsletter that the majority of the Plan Commission supported that petition as well. It then came to the Board of Commissioners for a decision. Dr. Clements, like some other members of the Plan Commission, are appointed by the Board of Commissioners. We don't direct them to vote in any particular manner, and we have appointed both Democrats and Republicans over the many years. It is inappropriate for the Chamber to direct their vitriol against an appointed member of a body. It is disrespectful to her personally. Maligning someone who is essentially volunteering her time to the community is misdirected and disgraceful. How's that for the word community? If you go to the newsletter, you'll get why I said that. I am so proud of Margaret Clements. She has stood up for the interests of Monroe County residents in the fight against the city's annexation process. Her home wasn't targeted for annexation, but she cared so much about people in the community who faced potential property tax increases if their homes were annexed, meaning their affordable homes would become unaffordable. Let's talk about affordable housing. And she stepped up. She's worked hard for this community that she loves. She didn't gain anything, but in fact spent a great deal of her precious time and funds to support county residents.
The Monroe County Commissioners will meet again on Thursday, June 12th. The Bloomington City Council met on June 4th. During staff reports, Planning and Transportation Director David Hiddle gave an update on the UDO. He discussed the housing crisis and explained that since the council has control over the UDO, they can attempt to make changes to incentivize housing stock growth.
There are lots of factors that dictate whether housing is attainable. There is land scarcity, availability, there's workforce availability, there's the lending climate, there's the market, there's workforce, and there's the law. And here we're looking at just one of those things. That's the law, the regulatory framework, which in this case is the UDO. So it's impacting one of many things that has an impact on housing attainability, but it's the one thing that we have total control over in terms of the people in this room, the mayor's administration as well. But the UDO is written and maintained and modified and changed solely by this group. So that is the thing that you have control over.
Hiddle said that he would try to get new UDO language to the Plan Commission by January. Next, Council heard Ordinance 2025-22 and 2025-21, which would authorize and approve a payment in lieu of taxes agreement with Henderson Court Housing and Cambridge Square Apartments. Director of Economic and Sustainable Development, Jane Cooper-Smith, spoke to the Council, giving an overview of the ordinance. Payment in lieu of taxes allows the city to set a fixed rate for a property instead of collecting property taxes, often saving the property owner money that, in this case, will be set aside to renovate and improve the units. This approach is being used to incentivize developers to maintain affordable housing units.
Payment in lieu of taxes or pilot agreements are facilitated by state code and administered on a local level. Pilots may support the renovation, acquisition, or construction of affordable housing units. They require that long-term affordability be guaranteed through an extended use agreement, which is with the IHCDA. In pilots, the property owner makes a payment at a percentage of the overall tax liability. In the proposals today, the payments are proposed to be fixed at 45% of the current tax liability with an annual escalator of 3%. The pilot payments, this is by state code, are then directed to the city, which means that 100% of the related tax revenue is diverted from other local government units. So the pilot payment comes to the city. It does not get redistributed to the government units. It gets deposited here into an affordable housing fund. Just wanted to underscore that. So pilots are a trade-off of community goods. They decrease revenue in exchange for the retention or creation of affordable housing units.
Cooper-Smith said that developers cannot increase the rent to pay for the renovations. The renovations have to be paid for using the money saved from the taxes.
Henderson Court. Henderson Court is located at 2475 South Winslow Court. It was acquired by the Glick Foundation in late 2024. It features 150 1, 2, and 3-bedroom units at 60% of the AMI. The requested payment is $80,400 or 45% of the tax liability. That's the 24 pay 25 tax liability, and then there's the escalator of 3% annually.
Councilmember Isak Asari spoke in support of the pilot agreement.
The proposal is fantastic. It creates long-term affordability at that AMI rate that we've talked about in so many cases is really missing, and for a large number of units. And so a lot of them at that 60% or below AMI, and in many cases below that, while allowing the developer to complete much-needed renovations without sacrificing affordability. And so I just think that it's a really, really positive, the type of things that we want to see in the way that we want to use this tool. And so I'm in great support of it, and aligns very well with so many of the other things that we've brought up in other contexts. Thank you.
The council voted unanimously to approve the payment in lieu of taxes at Henderson Court. Councilmember Hopi Strasburg abstained from voting on the Cambridge Square apartment complex pilot agreement due to a conflict of interest. The council voted to approve the pilot with a vote of 8 yeses and 1 abstention. Bloomington Mayor Carrie Thompson answered questions from residents in City Council District 3 at a traveling town hall on June 2nd. The event took place at University Elementary on Russell Road. It featured Director of Economic Sustainability Jane Cooper-Smith and City Council President Hopi Strasburg. The mayor kicked off the town hall by providing a rundown on her latest initiatives and recent developments. These included increased staffing for police and the creation of the new Blink transportation service.
We're getting very close to being fully staffed at our police department, and I shouldn't say this because then somebody will retire or get injured, but our fire is in great shape. That's what I'll say. So we really have made great strides in the last 18 months on both fronts. I also want to highlight the new transportation that we have going on downtown, and people are confused about that. That makes sense. So this is, it's like a little minibus, and it's branded with our Blink Bloomington Transit logo, and that will be circulating. So it will be going on a set route, but if it's not busy, it also can be called sort of like an Uber. So you can say, this is where I am, come pick me up. So that is really exciting. It's free, and it is an effort to really maximize parking in our parking garages and elsewhere, and to make shopping downtown easier, especially if you're mobility limited. So you want to park a couple blocks away and go to a few shops and then go all the way back to your car. Blink can help with that.
Later, city leaders fielded questions from local residents in the 3rd District. One resident commented on a situation with the sober living facility Malibu House, asking how the city can hold these organizations accountable, making sure that they are providing safe housing for their residents. The mayor explained that because the landlord renting to Malibu House is not providing safe shelter, the city has gotten involved.
What we have learned so that situation has been in the news for 2 different reasons. And one of those reasons is that some of those houses, and the landlord is renting to Malibu House, so Malibu House doesn't own these properties, are not providing safe shelter. And so the city has gotten involved because we of course have rental inspections, and we require safe and habitable living situations. So that's one of the reasons. And so we have we did not just target the sober living. There were multiple properties that came under that violation. And we are committed in my administration to ensure that if you're renting in the city of Bloomington, you will be providing safe and habitable housing.
The town hall wrapped up with the mayor and council president advising residents to stay informed on what is happening at the state and federal level. They highlighted the importance of local nonprofits and engaging with the community. And that is all for CATSweek. Thank you for joining us. For CATS and WFHB, I'm Annalise Poorman.